in a piece of paper tonight. This is going to be a different kind of a Zoom. And hopefully I won't keep you here too long because some of the stuff that we go over tonight, I want you to sit with a little bit after this Zoom. I feel this has been coming up in my conversations with not only you guys, but like our side sisters and even just people that I've met and had conversation with that have no relation to Thrive, right? And it's this feeling of being like overwhelmed in the social media space. And I feel like just with the nature of the world and what's going on in the world, like it can be a little bit toxic sometimes to work in social media. And it's important for us to know like when to put our phone down and when we need to take that space and take that time for ourselves. But like, there's also a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure to like always be on, to always be happy, to always have some value to put on your social media page. And I want to just kind of like release that a little bit tonight. And just let you know that if you feel that, if you ever feel like, oh my God, there's so much pressure for me to be a mom, to be a wife, to do all the things, to get the groceries, to make sure the kids have back to school clothes, to do everything like work, and I'm trying to build my business, right? Like it's a lot of pressure. Um, and so I just want you to know that the emotions that you feel behind that are completely normal. And I want you to remember why you're here. I want you to remember why you clicked that promoter button and why it's worth keep going every single day, but also to release the pressure. And one of the conversations I've been having a lot recently is with Brielle, which is one of our sideline sisters, and we too started almost at the exact same time. We were one day apart from joining. She joined one day before me. And it was back in 2018, and we're both still here. And so we have just like formed this connection throughout the years of just supporting each other. And no matter what's going on, like highs, lows, struggles, frustrations in business. And so I urge you to go out and meet some of your fellow side sisters, like reach out to them, maybe do a dual live with them. They don't have to be in Relentless, right? Like literally make those relationships because they could be people that you just needed in your life and you did not know that you needed them, right? And Briella is one of those people for me. And she and I have been talking a lot lately with the choices that I'm making. I know I told you guys, like I am stepping back into the full time nurse realm, at least for the next couple months. And I don't know exactly how I'm going to share this, but I've decided to take a travel assignment to be able to pay off debt for my family. And I feel like it's the right choice. I just don't know exactly how I'm going to share that on my social media without jeopardizing the current job that I have, because I'm going to be doing a little bit of both for a little bit of time. It's going to be a rough 13 weeks, but it's going to be much needed. For my family. And like I said, like in my heart, like I feel like that's the right decision to get us on the path that we want to be in. And Brielle is also, you'll see on her story, she's going back into substitute teaching. And for a while there, she had stopped teaching. And, you know, we've been back and forth with like, there's a lot of pressure, right? Especially when you are kind of like taking that step back. Like maybe Lavelle was that avenue that helped you kind of step back into being a part-time nurse or step back from teaching full time. And now we're just kind of in a season where no one is immune to the struggles that we're all feeling, like financially, emotionally, like all the things, right? It's high stress. The world is crazy. And so just know whatever you're going through, there is somebody else who's going through it too. And we're in this together. And that is one thing that I hold so tightly to you guys and to this tribe, because these relationships that I have built over the last 4 years with you guys and with our side sisters, like nobody can replace that. Nobody can replace that like 10 p.m. phone call where it's like, hey, do you have a second? Like, I need to talk, right? Or pick me up when I'm feeling down, or no matter what. And you could be on either side of the spectrum. Maybe you are the person who's lifting the other person up. And then maybe there's days where you need to be pulled out of the trenches a little bit too. And we've just kind of been having this discussion of like, wow, like there's a lot of pressure, right? There's a lot of pressure to perform on Instagram or to perform on Facebook and to make the world, you know, see your business as an opportunity to help them out of their struggles. But like in all reality, like maybe your business isn't quite there yet, right? And we step into imposter syndrome a lot whenever maybe you've been showing up and you've been doing all the things and the income isn't there yet. and it's okay. And one thing that Brielle and I have been kind of like coaching each other on is we have to stop putting so much pressure on our business, because for the longest time, both of us have been, I should have had her on here, but I know she's on Lindsay's Zoom right now too. But we've been putting so much pressure on our business to be like the thing, the fix it, the end all be all, like the answer to paying off my debt, the answer to my health problems, the answer to my energy, the answer to any problem that you have going on in your life. And that is not fair. That is not fair to treat your business that way. And you get really stuck in this place of almost resenting your business, because we were talking about this with Christina Tammy on Sunday on the planning Zoom, and she was like, you know what, I'm done calling these IPAs. And she heard it from Bob Heilig. I haven't heard that specific podcast that she was talking about, but she said there's a reason why he says like stop calling them income producing activities, because it causes your brain to like have a negative relationship with the word income producing activity and the things that you're doing in your business every single day, when you're doing all of the things but the income isn't coming right now. And so you start to resent the follow up, you start to resent the reaching out to people, you start to resent, and you have this negative emotion behind the actions that you know you need to take in your business, which in return is going to get what result, right? And it's a really toxic cycle. And so she said, you know, I've let go of income producing activities for now, at least. And she said, I've just called them like get it done or make a friend today or whatever she wanted to call it for the day. And if you need to release that, release that, because I know that income producing activities for me for the longest time, like they have been like a thorn in my side some days, especially when you're doing all the things and you're a mom and you're a wife and you're making sure that everything and everybody else is taken care of. Sometimes our instinct is to put that business on the back burner, right? And that's why having a vision for where you're going is so, so important to keep you going during those hard times, but also knowing that it's okay to release the pressure. It's okay if you don't put up 5 posts. It's okay if you don't do a live every single week. It's okay if you miss a goal. It's okay if you sold no trials this week. It's okay if you just need rest. It's okay if you take that break, you know? And sometimes that's when I get the biggest inspiration. I feel like over the last past week, I've had like a rut with my content. Like I felt super not creative at all. Like I've been pulling old photos. Like I was that kind of week for me last week. And it's normal. You're going to get into those moments, but in those moments, step back. In those moments, take the pressure off yourself to show up in a certain way and just be you. And just be you. And we'll go over this a little bit later tonight, but I do want to do like a little bit of a deep dive with you guys tonight. I know that some of you know I'm reading a book about debt and finances, just kind of in general. And so my question to you, if you're comfortable putting it in the chat, get out your pen and piece of paper. But my question to you guys is, do you have debt? Is anybody else struggling with debt, or is it just me? I'm talking like student loan debt, credit card debt. You owe somebody money. Maybe you took a private loan out. Maybe you borrowed money from somebody. Maybe you owe somebody money, and there's like this negative like relationship between you and money right now. Okay, good. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Thank you guys. I was like starting to sweat a little bit. I was like, oh no, I'm in trouble. Okay. That's been my story for a while. And I know that I joined this business with paying more in debt per month than my mortgage payment. And my mortgage payment was $1,850 at the time, which is not a crazy mortgage payment, but it's almost $2,000. And so when I stepped into this business in 2018, I was paying more than $2,000 in debt every single month. I was paying over $600 in student loans. I was paying credit card payments where the minimum was like $300 or something. I couldn't afford to fix the broken window in the basement. I couldn't afford to put new tires on my car in order to pass inspection. Like, young girl was broke. And so when I tell you that Sean and I were picking up overtime just to pay the bills on time, I'm not kidding you. We literally have like drowned in debt. without living like this extravagant, like we weren't making like humongous purchases, but some purchases that we made were not smart. Some purchases were like a couch that like we didn't need, right? And so then we ended up with like an Ashley Furniture card, or maybe you had like a Victoria's Secret card or an H.H. Gregg card or a what any kind of card, right? I ended up having to take out another card to pay for those tires that I couldn't afford to be able to pass my inspection, right? Because I didn't have the money in the bank account. And I think the statistic right now is like 70% of Americans like cannot even afford like what is it, like a $400 like a $400 medical bill or unforeseen bill that you have coming in. Like the average American cannot afford that right now without like going like in panic, right? And so thank you guys for being so honest. I'm going to dive into that a little bit today. I'm going to go through, words are escaping me. I'm going to go through a little bit of a guide with you guys. In relation to debt, in relation to money, but I also want to tie it into our business and the pressure that we put on our business. Okay. And basically, I just want to start this off by saying, do not ever, ever, ever underestimate the power of flipping your words around, of flipping the verbiage, the words that you use to talk about something, because it changes how you feel about something. And one of the things that I have, yes. So one of the things that I love you guys. I've been going through is in this book, it talks about debt, it talks about money that you owe people, but it talks about your bills. And I don't know if you've ever been like the type of person who like just nonchalantly like doesn't like check the mailbox, or you just like, it's due, like mortgage is due on the 15th and you don't pay it till the 14th, like that sort of thing, like sliding by the skin of your teeth, like hi, okay, you're not alone. And so this is the reason why I even picked up this book in the first place. This is a book that was recommended by Kristen Boss. And I know you guys are so tired of probably hearing about her, but I just align with so many things that she says, with releasing the pressure and just having more joy and more peace in your business. Because if you want to stick this through, if you want to see this out 4 years, 5 years, 10 years from now, you have to figure out what is sustainable for you. And what's sustainable for you might not be sustainable for me, right? I cannot do a live every single day. I just can't. Like, it might be different for all of us. Okay. And so in this book, the chapter I was reading last night was talking about bills, and it was talking about like, you know how I told you guys, like the only way to know where you're going is to know where you're at right now. It is hard to sit there and write down every single thing you owe money to. Nobody wants to do that, but we're going to do it tonight. Okay. We are going to write down. Okay. I want you to write down all your debt. It doesn't have to be the exact number, but like if you have a ballpark later, Harry quit. Later, you can just do bullets for now. And later you can go back and you can write down the exact number, right? I don't have mine all written down, and I have them like on a post-it note over here somewhere, but I don't have like the exact numbers. I need to log back into my accounts and see how much money I owe, right? I love you. But I want you to write down all your debt. Okay, so take a few minutes. I'm going to write down, I'm gonna be real honest with you guys. Okay, we got credit card. I'm gonna put a little bullet there. I'm just very vague. I'm putting credit card. I've got student loans still. You guys are welcome to throw it in the chat if you really want to, or you can keep it to yourself. I also we've got some medical debt from Sean's knee. And believe it or not, oh, I owe the hospital money because I backed out of my contract to leave the hospital. So, shh, don't touch me. It was one of those like, you broke your contract, like I was paying your student loans. They were paying like $100 a month for my student loans. And so everything that they paid, I owe them back. Okay, it is what it is. You couldn't have kept me in that hospital. Anyways, so there's that. If you're not in debt, like I'm gonna clap for you, but if you're not in debt, the second thing is write down a list of like purchases that make you feel shame, right? So maybe you went out to eat this weekend and you really shouldn't have. You really should have put that money towards a bill. Or maybe you splurged on something that it just made you not feel so good about it because your kids really needed something instead. Or I don't know, like any kind of purchase, y'all quit. Any kind of purchase, monthly waxing. Yes, see, credit cards. Yep. Oh gosh. Account negative for 60 days. Disconnect notices for utilities left and right. Harriet, I feel you. That's one thing. Last week, remember I said like I let a bill go? I took a bill off auto pay because I had gotten so comfortable in 2021. I'm going to be super honest with you guys with rank advancement bonuses. We were making good money, right? And I got comfortable and I had all my bills on auto pay and it felt really, really good. I bumped my hours down to part-time and everything came back at me. And I'm just like, it took everything for me not to feel insane shame for stepping back my hours too soon. Looking back at it, it's a lesson that I needed. It's a lesson that, and we have not like gone on any fancy trips or anything like that. Um, we haven't done anything crazy with our money, but I look back at it and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe I shouldn't have backed off to part time before I had my debt paid off. Like maybe that wasn't a smart move. And in anything that happens to you, business related, life related, whatever, you're going to learn a lesson from it. But like we talked about last week, you can't make that mean anything about you. That doesn't mean that I'm a failure. That doesn't mean that my business doesn't work. That doesn't mean that like there's anything wrong, right? That just means like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe there's a new avenue, right? And so I decided I'm going to travel to North Carolina because it's an area that we're considering actually moving to. And I'm like, you know what? Like if God's going to let it happen, it's going to happen. And maybe I'll scout out the area and maybe I'm just going to have fun with it. And maybe, healthcare, like they played me in 2020 and 2021 and 2022. I'm coming back and I'm playing for keeps, right? Like I'm going to pay off my debt. I'm going to play the system a little bit. I love you guys, but I'm going to play the system a little bit and I'm going to pay off my debt and I'm going to get my family in a good place. Right. And I don't feel guilty about that. I don't feel shame about that. I feel like it is a good move for us. Like I said, it's going to be crazy, but um yeah, it's just something that we needed to do. So if the cards align while Sean is home, then I'm gonna run and I'm gonna do it. Anyways, so when you're writing down all your debt and everything, we look at our monthly bills. I don't know about you, but I have like my monthly bills written down on a calendar, what day it needs to be paid by, what's the amount. I urge you to write down like your interest rate because I feel like for the longest time we wanted to pay the highest interest rate first. And then we decided to do the Dave Ramsey thing a couple years ago, and we started doing the debt snowball, where you pay off the smallest chunk first so that you feel like you're making progress. And then you take whatever you were paying off that small chunk towards your next biggest chunk, and then you move your way up, right? And one thing that this book was going over this morning is a different way of looking at it, not in the highest interest rate, not in the smallest chunk that you can pay off, but in what causes you the most like anxiety, like what puts so much pressure on yourself. Like in the example in the book that she put was like, for example, if you borrowed $5,000 from a family member and you have, let's say you have $10,000 on a credit card, but you borrowed $5,000 from a family member and you see them every week, and knowing that you owe them money, it haunts you and it taints the relationship, and there is just like huge anxiety around it every single week, then it makes more sense to tackle that one first over a credit card that that you'll make the minimum payment. Eventually it will get paid off, right? What is actually staring at you in your face and causing you that anxiety and all that pressure to just build up and become overwhelmed in your situation? Is any of this making sense? um Yes, Jennifer. Credit cards, credit cards. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Thank you guys for being honest. Um, so I thought that made a lot of sense to go for the one that makes you feel really, really shameful about, right? Um, so write that down. And then one thing that she calls in this book, she calls your bills, instead of calling it bills or debt, she calls it invoices for blessings already received. Meaning, yeah, you have rent or you have a mortgage payment, but you've been blessed with a home. You've been blessed with shelter over your family's head. You've been blessed with a safe space. You've been blessed with air conditioning, heat. You've been blessed with all these things, right? And we get so wrapped into like, oh my God, I have to pay the mortgage or I have to pay rent or rent is late versus looking at it and spinning the verbiage around it and saying, this is my invoice for the blessing that I have already received. And if you can look at your bills that way, it makes you a little bit more willing to get it done, to do whatever you need to do, to sell 4 samples this week so that you can have $100 to put towards your electric bill, right? Or anything that you need to do because you get to tweak that. That's the thing is you might be having hard times behind the scenes, like financially or whatever, but like you have a business where you can have pantry money. You can literally go and 25, 50, 75, 100. You could sell 4 samples this week and put it on your light bill or put it on any bill that needs to be paid. It's literally like an avenue of income for yourself, right? We are blessed with the fact that we don't have to pay for our products, that we can earn free product credit. And so if you did not earn free product credit this month, that needs to be on your list for September, is that you're going to make it happen for August, right? Because you're going to alleviate that stress and that overwhelm for yourself next month by having those credits, by being able to use that money in other places. And at the end of the day, we get to choose where our money goes. You know, we might think, well, got to pay this, got to pay that, got to pay that. But guess what? I made the decision to buy this home. I made the decision to have that car. I made the decision, right? To whatever. You get what I'm saying? Just look at the way you're looking at it. And it could release that pressure a little bit for yourself. But the third thing that I wrote down here, of course, this is not in the book, but I want to bring this back to your business a little bit. And I want you to write down a list of things that are in your business that make you feel shame, right? And I feel like the longer you're in business, the more things you're gonna create in your head, and you're gonna pile that shit up, and you're gonna be like, I've been here a year and I haven't signed a promoter. I've been here X amount of time. I should be further along by now. I sold no samples last week. Nobody's in my inbox. How come I've got 6 potentials on my list and nobody's buying promoter packs? There's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with my conversations. I'm not doing it right. I've got to figure it out the right way. I've got to do it the right way. And I'm not going to post again until I can figure out how I'm going to do this the right way to speak to my people, right? And you get into your head and you create all these stories and all these things around your business. And then you start feeling shame about it, right? And if you could look at things, you can use me for example. Use me for example. I've been here for 4 years and I'm a 12K leader, right? How long has Katie been in business? How long has Em been in business, right? They've been with Lavelle the same amount of time, but they've got 3 or 4 other years in a different business on top of me. So it's easy for me to go, how come I'm not where Katie's at, right? But I got to check myself and say, Amber, she was in business 3 years before you. So there's no way, but we compare ourselves to other leaders all the time. And we're like, how come she's slinging samples left and right? How come this person is signing this many people, right? You don't know what's going on. They might be focusing on quality content and they might be killing it in their conversations. And maybe we're too scared to have conversations, right? Because there's been seasons for me where it's like, I'm putting out the content, I'm marketing, but I'm not networking. And there's been a huge disconnect sometimes. And sometimes you got to catch yourself in that game and say, am I networking? Am I marketing? Or am I network marketing? Right? There's 2 pieces of the puzzle. But it gets really fun, especially if you're like a blue or a green and you like to create things, you like to create content, you like to use social media as a creative outlet in anything that you're putting out, whether it be Thrive related or not, it's fun, right? But then we like miss the whole boat on, hold up, I gotta talk to people. Hold up, I gotta go make some friends. Like introverted me, like I don't want to talk to anybody. And I've been that person before where it's like somebody is starting a conversation with you in your inbox and you're just like, I'm good. And then you move on. No, right? Like you've got to catch yourself and be like, you're not doing it right, Amber. Like you're not actually having conversations with people. You're just saying, I'm good, right? Like I did that the first year in my business. I did that when people asked me, what's that sticker on your arm? It's a vitamin. And then run to the other side of the room, right? Like no, I'm not kidding. I literally did that with my coworkers. But write down a list of things in your business that make you feel that way. And is there anything in your business that you can look at and say, what a blessing, right? Like I'm sitting here beating myself up over this, but what a blessing that I've had a slow start. What a blessing that I've been able to work on my mindset and I've been unshakable when it comes to this business and never once like thrown in the towel, never once gave up on myself. If anything, you've grown your vision stronger. If anything, you've grown yourself. If anything, you've grown in areas that you didn't even know you needed. You just wanted the paycheck when you came in, right? Or maybe you were like me and you wanted the free products and you got a community of women that's helping you grow in your faith. You got a community of women that's helping you grow in your confidence. You got some friends. You got a really good circle, right? And I don't know about you, but I can't find this circle anywhere else out in the real world right now. Like people are crazy. And I'm totally fine sitting my butt on a curb for lunch because people are just like tearing each other apart at work still after 2 years of this mess, right? And I'm okay being by myself. Like I'm okay being the black sheep. I'm okay with whatever people want to think about me. If I have to put my Facebook on private, then I'm gonna put my Facebook on private, or maybe I'll just block some people, right? I don't care. I'm still going to show up and I'm still going to build my business. I'm still going to move forward in that path because I know that I'm here on purpose. And I know that no matter what, my success is inevitable in this business. And you have to get to a point where you actually believe that, right? Because otherwise, all of these little things are going to haunt you at night. The fact that nobody's in your inbox, the fact that maybe you didn't sell a sample last week, the fact that nobody, maybe you haven't signed a promoter in a while, or maybe your bills are behind, or anything that you're struggling with behind the scenes, like it will eat at you. It will literally haunt you at night until you build that vision so strong that you can't be shaken either. And you're going to be like, you know what? Like, I don't care what storm I'm going through. Like, I know what's on the other side of the storm. Like, I know I'm coming out stronger. I know it's going to be guns blazing and it's going to be a hell of a show. And I cannot wait, right, for people to see what I already see in me. And you have to get to that point. Otherwise, you stay awake at night worrying about if you're in the right company or you're on the right team, or maybe you do quit and you give up on yourself. And 6 months from now, you're sitting in massive regret, right? I'm not going to sit here and know what that feels like. I'm not. I'm not going to be the girl who leaves and says, man, I had it good, right? Man, that community can't be beat. Man, I was growing in so many different ways, right? I'm not going to be that girl. And so, yeah, there's probably some areas in your business where it eats at you a little bit and you start to question yourself and you start to question your worth a little bit sometimes. But you have to look at that list when you write that down tonight, the thoughts that you actually think about your business, not the content that you put out, the thoughts you actually think about your business. I want you to look at that. Because if you've never written down your thoughts about your business, that's where you'll learn what you really think. That's where you'll learn why people maybe aren't in your inbox and why it's not converting and why it's not clicking. Because if you're showing up and you're sharing the comp plan, but in actuality, you feel like you're not a good leader, you feel like you can't like guide somebody through VIP 800, you feel like you're a failure, you feel like you don't know what you're doing, you feel like you're not doing it right. If you can't master those emotions and knowing what's truth and what's just made up in your head, then you're always going to be that girl who like lays on your pillow at night and second guesses yourself. And then when you second guess yourself, the way you show up tomorrow is completely different. It's like off, right? The second part of the activity that I want to walk you guys through is an inventory of your blessings. And I think we've done this a little bit before, but I want to go, hold on, I wrote down a page. Okay. So this part of the chapter was talking about inventory your blessings. So first of all, like you've got invoices for blessings already received. Those are your bills, right? And then you take an inventory of it. And so maybe you look at that list, that credit card debt, the student loans, the medical debt, in the hospital, right? Recall, I wrote this down, recall all of the blessings that you've already received as a result of your spending. And it could be debt that you have, or it could just be like you guys said, like the monthly wax or whatever, like the things that you splurge on that you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have. Take an inventory of all the ways your life is better because of the debt or because of the spending. Like, did you have fun with your friends this weekend? Like, did you have a good time? Did you laugh? Did it make you happy? Right? I spent some money this weekend. I took the family out to eat. Yeah, I could have paid a bill, but I gave my kids some ice cream, right? And my kids had a really good weekend. And if you can actually inventory all the things, like what did you put on that credit card? What did you buy with it? When you look at your statement for your car payment and you look at that blessing and you're like, I've traveled safely without having a car break down on me for the last however long, right? Or what? Like look at your blessings and take inventory. Is any of this making sense? Like hopefully this makes sense. All the ways that your life is better because of the debt or because of the spending. And then I want you to look at your business and all those things that make you uncomfortable, all those things that eat you alive, that you're just picking on yourself. You're just like being mean to yourself. You're not giving yourself grace and you're just like holding all this pressure and you're trying to like hold it all in, right? And like save face. But really, like, how is your life better because of this business? And we talked about it a little bit. Like, it's the community, it's the friends, it's the sisters, it's having a purpose, it's a vision for your life and for your family that maybe you didn't have before this. I had no goals before this except for like a scale goal, like what number I wanted on the scale. That's a piss poor mindset, right? Like to get all the way to 30 and to have never set a goal in my life, except get good grades because there was no option, right? College was not an option. Let's see. Write down all the ways that your life is better because of your business. That's the second thing. And then I want to read you this because I thought this was powerful. It's easy. It's easy, you guys, to just like hold all this pressure, of like wanting your business to be a certain way. And maybe it's just not right now. And knowing that that's okay. Right. And knowing that even if you got to take a step back, even if you got to like move a little different, or maybe go back to working full time like me, or, pick up something else, or you know what I mean? Like life is going to come at you and you got to be ready for it. You got to be ready to catch the ball. But I'm going to read this paragraph to you. So sorry if it sounds cheesy, but I thought it was good. It says, please do not hold off on living your life with abundance and joy because you owe some value in exchange for blessings you've already received, or because you haven't met a particular financial goal. And that could be a business goal too. It doesn't always have to be finances, you guys. Your enjoyment of life is one of the ways that you add value to the planet, and you stifling it only adds more debt and deprivation to your life on an energetic level. It's like literally sucking the energy out of you, right? It says, instead, find ways to create abundance daily. Enjoy nature, laugh with your kids, eat slowly, savor every bite, make love, watch funny movies, do things that make you feel alive. It's possible to live abundantly without spending a lot of money. And the more you enjoy every freaking moment of your life, the more the more value you'll be adding to the world, and the faster you'll be able to pay off those invoices for blessings already received and create more prosperity in every area of your life, both financial and otherwise. Right. And no matter what's going on behind the scenes in your business, in your life, in your marriage, in your finances, if you are faced with a storm, release the pressure and just find little ways to put a smile on your face. Like find little ways to come alive. And maybe sometimes we create that pressure ourselves. Sometimes we put in our head, like for the longest time, I've told myself, like, I'm going to do a reel a day, right? I'm going to do a reel a day. I'm going to do one live video a week. I'm going to post every single day. And I've posted every single day for the last however many years, right? And sometimes it's not all inspirational and aspirational, and it's not educational. And sometimes it's just a post, right? And sometimes we beat ourselves up over the fact that maybe we haven't gotten it done in time, or we didn't have enough conversations today. And we make it mean that we have failed today. And if you go to bed at night feeling like you failed in your business, how inspired are you to wake up tomorrow and do the same thing? Right? But if you give yourself grace, if you back off on yourself and say, you know what, like maybe every post doesn't have to be about vitamins and an opportunity, right? Like maybe I can share my heart in my stories when I feel called to share my heart in my stories, not when it's forced, right? And that's something that I have decided to trial out, is to try to put something on my stories before I go putting vitamins in the morning. Like maybe I could change it up. Maybe I could talk about trials at night. Maybe if all they see is vitamins and me talking about Thrive every single morning, of course, maybe that's why they're not watching the rest of my stories, and they don't feel pulled in and they don't feel like they can relate to me, because that's all I talk about first thing in the morning, right? So maybe like give yourself grace to change it up a little bit, to maybe not do a live all the time, except for when you feel called. Like don't do it when you just feel pressured to have to do it because you wrote it on your list and you want to check off your list because you're a type A personality and you want to get it done. Right? We're not list checkers. Like I know it feels good. I know it feels good, okay, to check off a list, but like at what expense? Because then you look back, and this is the last thing I want to do with you guys is, I don't know who's on their phone or who's on a computer, but if you're on your phone, minimize Zoom. And I want you to go to your Instagram because yeah, all of you guys are building on Instagram right now. I know that's a fact. Go to your feed. Hit the three little hamburger marks at, you can't see that. The three little hamburger marks at the top. You know how it gets you to like that part? I want you to go to your archive. And what this does is it brings up your stories archive. And this is something we did on Sunday with planning that Christina Tammy did. And she's like, go through your archive and just like scroll down. This is your stories. This is everything that you put on your stories for the last, like scroll about a week, right? And I want you to ask yourself as you're scrolling, what do you see? Like, I see a lot of vitamins. I see a lot of like inspirational talks, maybe, but a lot of them are related to Thrive, which is not bad. But like, I look at it and I see a lot of passion for my business. I see me using my products. Again, not bad. But like, what else? Right? And this is something that I still struggle with 4 years in. I still struggle with like, what makes me me? Right? had a little gut check yesterday and I asked my 5-year-old because my 5-year-old, I went in there and we're playing dollhouse because she likes for me to play dollhouse. And one of the things that she likes to do is she likes to create her own Barbie clothes, like out of like trash. She's so artistic and she loves to do that. And I find her doing that all the time. And she's got like pipe cleaners and like little scraps. She'll get like paper towels, toilet paper. She'll color it with marker. She'll put holes in it. Like she'll tie it together. I'm like, this is like literally like a little like fashion designer in the making. We just don't even know it. And then like my 6-year-old Kaylin, like she loves to color. She loves for me to print out like 100 pictures on my printer. And I'm like, you're wasting my ink, right? And she loves to color. She loves to like write notes. She's already written notes to her little friends, right? For starting school back. And so that's my creative one. And then this one over here, like she is like, she loves playing by herself and she loves doing that. And Emmy, I said, I love that you're so creative, and you love making these little clothes for your Barbies. I said, like, what makes mommy like different? Like, what does mommy like to do? You know what she said? She said, I don't know. And she probably didn't mean anything by it. But like sometimes we have to have that little check to say, am I a walking billboard? you know? And one of the things that Jessie Lee said a long time ago, and it stuck with me, and sometimes we get derailed a little bit, is she said, if nobody's in your inbox, they don't want to talk to you. They just don't want to talk to you. And you can't take offense of it. Like literally look at your archive. If I didn't want Thrive, if I did not want to buy vitamins and I was not looking to pursue a business, like would I talk to me? Right? That's a hard pill to swallow, but it's fixable with a little soul searching, right? It's fixable to share. And sometimes it's just like, maybe it's just my personality sometimes too. And I'm being very vulnerable with you guys tonight, but like sometimes I like to like be a little hermit and I like to hide. I like to just like keep to myself. I don't like my husband's so weird. He waves at people and he like makes weird noises in public. And I'm like, stop, right? Not me. You see how red I'm getting? I'm like, stop. you know? But it's like sometimes maybe that's what you're missing too. And it's okay. I'm so red right now. It's okay if that's what you're missing. Right? Like I said, it's all fixable. So do a little soul searching, like release the pressure. Stop feeling like if you're feeling this way, like your business has to be the fix it to your financial problems. Maybe sit down in silence and like come up with another way. Is there another way that maybe you can increase your finances so that you can release the pressure on your business? So that maybe you're not showing up in scarcity mode and you're not like breathing commission breath down every conversation that you have. And maybe you just need to find yourself again. And that's okay too, right? Because there's going to be times where shit hits a fan. There's going to be times where things get hard. But this business is such a blessing. And I will never walk away from it because there are so many things that like I've learned and I've grown from it. And I hope that you feel the same. Like I hope that you've grown. I hope that you see a completely different person in the mirror from the time you joined. And I hope you know that like you're literally about to bless somebody else with that. And somebody's going to come to you one day and be like, I didn't know I needed this. And look at me now. Like I'm walking across the stage to get my 200K sign. Like, what is life, right? Right? All right. The last thing I put, maybe add some more lifestyle posts. It's hard. It's hard to think about that. It's hard to think about like that's why we put in the guides on our relentless page. That's why we put like getting to know you. Like, what do you like? Right. And for the longest time, I was posting workouts. I used to post workouts a lot. And I do work out, like I do enjoy it, but like I don't know if that's like what I want to post about. Right. So I got to do some soul searching. Like I don't want to feel the pressure of every time I have to go or I'm going to the gym, like I have to like create something and like be like I just want to work out. Like, right. And so I can feel the energy shift not there. Right. And that's okay. And it's okay because for a long time there, like people were coming to me in my inbox and they're like, girl, like I need some ideas for this, or can you teach me a workout for this? And I'm like, yeah, girl, I got you. But like now I'm like, I don't know. Right. And it's okay because you're going to grow along the way and things are going to change and your style might change and your, what you like might change. You might decide to take up a whole new hobby, right? You might decide to cook more. You might decide to, I don't know, for a while there, Brielle was rollerblading, right? All kinds of things. And you get to just like share yourself grow on your social media and release the pressure a little bit. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. Peace with that. I found peace with that. I'm okay knowing that it takes time. Absolutely. It's not fun when you put that pressure on your business. It's really not. And it's heavy. Like it's heavy to have those conversations. The conversations I was having with Brielle, I was like, huge, huge issues with imposter syndrome, right? And it took me a long time to even like reach out to you guys and be like, you guys, listen, like I love you, but like God's telling me get back in the trenches, right? And for the longest time, I was like, I've failed them. I told Brielle, I was like, they say things like, look at Amber, she's the example. And she's like, stop. She's like, stop putting so much pressure on yourself. I'm like, you're right, you're right. Right? Nobody's perfect. We're all growing. We're all growing. Okay. Building my kitchen finally. Yes. See, that's awesome that you can share. You can share building that kitchen. Soul searching is not a bad thing. I'm gonna do a little bit of like behind the scenes work with that a little bit and see maybe we can dive into this a little bit more next week. I don't want to keep you guys too long. I told you guys I wasn't gonna keep you long, and here we are, 45 minutes. I love you. I hope you got a lot out of this tonight. Go sit in silence. Go get bare feet on the grass tomorrow if it's not raining. Look up at the sky, right? Ask for guidance, ask for direction, and just know that it's okay that you don't have all the answers, right? And that in whatever way you show up tomorrow, it's cool. It's cool, right? I was gonna say it's Gucci, but that's not my like verbiage. It's cool. Whatever you do tomorrow, like it's cool. You can make a reel about anything. You can do a post about anything. Don't put the pressure to show up and talk about your products or talk about your business. Maybe you need more days like that. Okay? I love you. Bye, you guys.